Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com, CardHoarder.com, Ultra Sleeves, as well as Twitch subscribers and Patreon supporters just like you. I am Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, MTG Nerd Girl.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Ruben Bressler.
Good evening. How are things?
Things are absolutely wonderful because we got some good news tonight. Now,
That's right.
If you missed...
For once in our lives.
It's amazing. Please, more of this. Thank you. If you missed our pre-show, subscribers to this channel get access to our NSFW version early. And with that, we kick it off with our first pick in our giveaway. Get your chance of $50 worth of anything at CoolStuffInc.com by typing !raffle in the chat. But subscribe first to get 2 chances to win and support your favorite streamer with your suggestions of who we raid at the end of the show tonight. That is thanks to sponsor CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day. Because we are here with the good news, and the good news is that the Pro Tour is coming back, y'all. The thing we asked for, the thing we talked about, the thing we said you don't have to go reinvent the wheel, but they reinvented it anyway. The idea that we got to live through 1,210 days of Magic esports to bring us back on home to the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that the OP announcement was amazing. I am still also a little concerned now that they are wiping the slate clean with the esports side of things. They even went so far as to deactivate the esports account, right?
Yeah.
Is what I saw.
Right.
So while I'm super happy for the live play, I would also like there to be active things for the arena side, which is something that we've all built.
Well, they said that that's coming, right? That they said that that's
sure
in the plans. They just didn't announce the digital side.
But why would you activate the esports account?
Right.
Well, that I don't know, but the Pro Tour is
Tour's coming back, which is good,
which is amazing and very exciting.
I would say so. I have a couple thoughts here. One is, of course, Evan likes that the old thing is coming back. Who is surprised that the old thing coming back makes Evan happy?
I'm sorry, it
raise
wasn't
your
broke.
Geriatric hands.
They fixed it because it wasn't broke. All right, fine.
But you're not wrong. This was the second part. We're starting off with the troll because we roast the ones we love. Mm-hmm. The Pro Tour wasn't broken. They didn't need to fix it. They got a little obsessed with going for the esports brass ring, and they didn't get there. And now they're returning to what worked previously for 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, some number of amounts of
22 and a half. It's fine.
And so that makes me happy, and I'm glad that it's coming back in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. All praise Huey Jensen and the rest of the Wizards team for making a thing that makes us happy. The thing is that the half-life of a Magic player suggests that most people don't know what a Pro Tour is. Most Magic players, we've been playing for so long that we forget that the half-life is very short. So now we're going, the old hats are happy, but they're going to have to prove it again.
Well,
right?
It's not like they never mentioned the Pro Tour in packs. They had ad cards that mentioned the Pro Tour, and the Pro Tour was on the website.
That's true.
And they did some amount of promotion for it. It's just that the moving away and the esports and the Mythic Championships and the invites to all that stuff, it was just totally different and weird. And then here comes, the pandemic, and that just smashed everything to pieces. But the idea that we're going to have 3 events, 3 Pro Tours for $500,000. We're going to have a World Championship for $1 million. Another big change that was really interesting is that the World Championship is not going to be like 12 people. It's going to be like 128 people that are qualified through various ways. And I thought that was really interesting. And that,
yeah, and that's probably where your esports people come from.
Sure.
I would hope that the folks that came in during the arena era, I'm hoping, are going to get a shot at that title also. But we didn't see the details. This was just the announcement. Mm-hmm. But based on the announcement, there's reason to be optimistic that everyone's going to get what they want out of this.
I mean, ultimately, you will have regional championship qualifiers. There's no Grand Prix. their regional championship qualifiers. This should give you plenty of opportunities to go to a large event and play in those large events. They haven't released, I think, specific details about those events, but those regional championship qualifiers, the championship qualifiers can be ran in your local store. Let me back up here. So those will be ran in your local store. Those will qualify you for the regional championships. The regional championships will qualify you for the Pro Tour, and the Pro Tour qualifies you for the World Championship. There are no more pro points. They did give a little bit to the Hall of Famers to give them one invite and one invite to a Pro Tour per season, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, you can't kind of schedule an extra 49 seats for every Pro Tour until the end of time. Yeah. But, the idea that everything's based on record now, and there are fractional invites that are based on record and finishes that you have, and all that stuff's in the articles if you guys want to read it and check it out here. But one of the big focuses essentially, and one of the big takeaways, is that this is tabletop. This is real, physical, cardboard Magic. This is the Gathering. This is what we wanted and what we yearned for. I think it's great that we have Magic Online. I think it's wonderful that Arena is what Arena is, but there is something magical about everybody getting in that room and seeing the best in the world make it happen. And, it's a lot harder for me to get nostalgic and excited about watching highlights from anything from the online era versus almost anything from the paper Magic. Two people, facing off, and here comes the friends running, from off camera to push them up in the air and all this other stuff. I mean,
both is okay, right?
I didn't say it was terrible. I just said, of the two, I definitely want, sure. I yearn for the paper Magic. I'm old, by the way.
I think that is a thing of the past a little bit, at least for coverage. And I only say that because I know a lot of viewers and friends who've started more recently, and they just cannot stand watching paper Magic coverage. Yeah. They can't see the cards. They don't know what anything does. It's hard to follow. You can't hover over the cards and check them out. It's not very good for new things. Now, I only want to play live. I like paper coverage. I don't really watch a ton of coverage in general. I watch some, but it doesn't really matter to me. But for the most part, the feedback I'm hearing is that the Arena coverage is better. It is a better experience.
And I'm happy to get into a red zone with Evan on this because we're all old people here. But live Magic coverage doesn't get new viewers. Like, we're gonna get our people that love Magic, but it doesn't grow.
We'll get 10,000 people through most of the weekend, and we'll get 25 at the end of it.
Sure.
And that'll be our viewership.
Number is the number.
And that's been our number for 15 years, and exactly. That's just the number.
And that's the number. Whereas the Arena viewership, say what you will about the Arena, the Arena Pro Leagues and the MPL and all that kind of stuff, it's a better product to watch.
It depends, right? It depends on storylines. It depends on stakes. It depends on personalities that are being featured. The commentary, crew, for example. I think there's a lot of different factors in there, but ultimately, I get what you're saying, and that it's difficult to make the paper as exciting as the whiz bang explosions and sound effects arena. Yeah, I understand that, but I also feel
another big thing that happened in this announcement is that the tournament organizer for the United States is DreamHack.
For the entire country.
Which is huge news.
No
Channel Fireball, no SCG, no Pez,
nobody except that one outfit.
None of the names you're used to from Magic tournaments, except for DreamHack, which they're very good at running esports tournaments, not just gaming tournaments. So I'm excited for that.
Right. Like I knew DreamHack existed in the US because there's an event in Dallas that is a Counter-Strike event that is also a DreamHack event. So I cared. But now all of a sudden it's going to have a Magic thing there too, apparently, or maybe, or something. I don't know, but we'll figure out where their schedule is. I know they released some stuff today. And I know that stores will have to work through DreamHack in order to get those qualifiers. So there's the whole layer of that stuff. But to bounce back here really fast, just so we can get to the rest of this announcement, the regional championship qualifier promo cards, these are the ones that you would see at your local stores. You have a lava spike non-foil for participating, which is cool, a traditional foil for participating in select large open qualifying events and side events at regionals and regional finals. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, a non-foil version for top finishers at local qualifying events, and foil for players who earn invitations to the regional championship. So that's going to be a very expensive and high dollar foil, which is great. And they go over some of that. And for the regional championships, the promo card is going to be Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, because who doesn't love that card? A non-foil for the regional champ participants and traditional foil for the top finishers, which is great.
Really good choices for these promo cards.
Really exciting. Everybody loves Teferi, and there we go.
I mean, the Lava Spike, honestly, is an inspired choice. That's a $3 to $4 common. And then, Nykthos has been jumping too. Nykthos is over $20. Like, they did a really interesting and also that Nykthos art is fantastic, spectacular, show-stopping spectacular.
Yeah.
I think that they did a really good job with what the choices that we saw. I have that 10 out of 10. I have no notes. Like, the choices that we have seen thus far, I don't have any complaints about. I don't have anything to add. It's just the stuff that we don't know yet, as was evidenced by like what happens with the online, the Magic Arena qualifying people. How do we develop this from where we've been the last 3 years, not just where we were 3 years ago? So those are the questions we have going forward. But everything that we've seen, it's great.
Yeah, and as I mentioned a little bit in the pre-show, the WPN kits for the stores do cost money, as were previously didn't. This is the idea that there aren't Grand Prix. There's going to be coverage at the big Pro Tours and World Championships, but they have nothing announced for the Grand Prix again, for the regional events, because that is under the purview of the organizers. So we'll see what comes out of those talks. Either way,
had something else to add, right?
The Pro Tour is back.
Girl. I thought you had I cut you off in the middle of something.
Okay. You sure? All right. Either way, I am super duper pumped. The Pro Tour has returned. The Hall of Famers are getting some amount of benefits. I recognize that, 5 years ago, it would have been a big issue if those were the benefits as a Hall of Famer. But these days, you kind of got to take what you can get, quite frankly. It's more in line with what they should get anyway. Like, they were getting too much. Right. It was not that sustainable based on long term. The fact that, Hall of Fame, and there's, Hall of Famers or Hall of Fames for other sports, the people stop playing. You can play Magic forever. Either way, as we move out of the first pick, we move to Gather the Townsfolk. Thanks to cardhoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. They're great. Tell them we sent you. Talk here about Streets of Capenna. We have a Streets of New Capenna roundup. Mark Rosewater did his traditional teaser, and I don't know if you guys seen all of this stuff, but there's silly stuff coming, and we're not really sure what's going to happen. And there's a card that adds 10 mana of double Wooburg. There's a spell that costs 13 black, which is neat. I think at one point it talks about there is a creature type that wasn't used or seen very much, and I believe the rumor for that is rumor mill is cephalids.
Yeah, cephalid.
But I don't know if that's happening, but maybe we'll see. But that'd be really cool. You guys seen these at all? Do you care? Do you like them?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I saw some of the announcement. There was actually quite a lot in there, which was surprising. I wasn't expecting to see that much this quickly.
Well, Raccoon Rogue sounds amazing.
Right. Raccoon is going to be a new creature type, which is pretty cool.
Plant dinosaur.
Cephalid, I think that they confirmed that there will be a legendary cephalid something.
Cephalid Advisor right here.
Advisor. Okay. So cephalid's a good bet for the creature type
Nice.
of the returning overall creature type.
Like, wasn't there like a creature that should have been a raccoon in Kamigawa that was called a dog? Remember that like 6-drop?
So Tanukis, yeah, here's the thing.
Okay.
Tanukis are a type of dog that look like a big raccoon in Japan. It's a Japanese breed of dog. They look like raccoons, but they are dogs. So I get that, but they also have printed a unset raccoon in the past.
Right.
So it makes sense to add raccoon or possum, right? Like, we can add cute mammals.
Through the, I believe it was the Command Zone stream, we have 3 new cards from Streets of New Capenna. These are from the actual set, not the Commander set or whatever. And also unveiled a new mechanic. that we could talk about here. The first card is Raffine Scheming Seer. This is the Esper legendary Sphinx Demon. So for black, blue, and white mana. So for 3 mana, it's a legendary 1/4 flying with ward of 1 generic mana. When you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. That means draw X cards, then discard X cards. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each non-land card discarded this way. I like looting, you like looting. Let's loot for cash and prizes.
Yeah, the cash and prizes is the important part there. And that like there's going to be so many other things that this synergizes with. It's going to be insane. It's also, though it's a little hard to cast on turn 3, it's, you know, decent stats, difficult to deal with. These cards are insane.
Yeah, very good. 3 mana 1/4 if we can get it down on turn 3 with ward and evasion is going to be a big deal. And being able to just basically Wheel of Fortune your hand is insane. And also if you are attacking and discard a bunch of non-land cards, you just get instead of being a 1/4, it's like a 5/8 on turn 4.
Well,
that's crazy.
You connive equal to the number of attacking creatures for this trigger, and I'm sure
I thought it was how much you got it. Never mind.
Right. It's fine. I mean, it gives the ability to the creature, and if you got a bunch of creatures, you can definitely, wheel your whole hand. But it's really interesting to see. Wizards has gotten more and more familiar with filtering, sifting type abilities, because drawing cards is just too powerful. So we get sifting abilities. I'll take it.
But it's better than drawing. I mean, Adam Prozac will yell at me if I say that drawing a card is better than drawing a card and then discarding a card. However, it is tough to argue that drawing a card and discarding a card and then putting +1/+1 counters on things is better than looting, or is worse than looting.
Worse than looting.
So connive seems very, very good.
It seems very strong. Well, let's look at a demon cat, shall we? The cat demon Jetmir Nexus of Revels. This is a Naya legendary creature for white, green, red, and 1 generic mana. It's a 5/4, and it's got 3 abilities that all stack. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance, as long as you control 3 or more creatures. Creatures you control get another +1/+0 and have trample, as long as you have 6 or more creatures. And creatures you control get another +1/+0 and have double strike, as long as you control 9 or more creatures.
Okay, that's a lot of stats. It's also well statted on its own. It's kind of nutty.
Yeah, this card's insane. The fact that it is just a 5/4 for 4 is crazy. The turn you play it, it immediately overruns and also provides good defense with the vigilance. Then the turn after you play it, you get more creatures on the board, and then all your creatures have +2/+0. This thing's crazy.
This does not say non-token creatures. This says everybody.
Yeah.
This is everybody.
Seems very, very good.
Everybody.
Non-token creatures is would have made this way less playable, but now it's a little scary. And the nice thing too is it doesn't necessarily need to be out on the battlefield for very long. Because if you're running a token deck, by the time you cast this, you could just be casting on turn 8 with already 9 creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of, curve topper, as you would say.
Brings the party for sure.
Indeed. So our last new preview here is a fantastic reanimator target. Let's check out Lord Xander, the Collector. Lord Xander, the Collector is a red, black, blue, and 4 generic mana. So that's 7 mana for a 6/6 mythic legendary vampire demon noble. Let's go. When he enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half the cards in their hand rounded down. When he attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded down. And when he dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. I have already seen multiple threads at this point of people threatening others who may be running this, talking about running this. Do they not like their friends? Do they want to get rid of their friends right now? Just figure out where you want to go. Lord Xander's there waiting on you.
You're not going to make any friends with this card.
Yeah. Well, you're not here to make friends if you're a vampire demon noble. This card is a very good reanimator target. I mean, it's 7 mana, so it's reasonable to cast in newer formats. Discard half your hand rounded down is no joke. So I mean, this is I hesitate to say that this is going to... It's a 7-drop in 3 colors, so it's very difficult to see play. But if anything is going to, this has immediate effect, and it has effect when you deal with it. So it seems like it has upside potential in Standard.
Yeah. I mean, having the ability, again, it has to fire off when it enters the battlefield. If it dies later, you sack it to something, you get another sweet ability. They have to exile it, otherwise it's just going to go nuts.
Ooh, Sorin can put this into play. That's a good catch. The 3-mana Sorin can drop this.
Oh, every vampire from now on.
That's real good.
And Sorin Imperious Bloodlord.
No. I didn't even think about that Sorin.
That's real good. That's very, very good.
I'm afraid. All right. Well, that's ridiculous. Moving on here, there are going to be a bunch of rebalances going on in Alchemy. Alchemy, as we know, is the digital-only format for Historic and Standard in Arena. This is an announcement that came out on March 30th. These cards actually changed on April 7th. I just wish and hope Wizards had actually given us card images on these things, but they did not. They listed the cards and what's changing about them. Overall, Warriors and Equipment are now Warriors and Equipment. They're 2 great tastes that should taste great together. And they kind of did before, but now they really, really do. They have changed certain cards like Breornor Battlehammer from Kaldheim to work with reconfigure cards, which is great. At this point, Nahiri, the red-white Nahiri, now can grab both a Warrior and an Equipment, which is huge. And Plate Armor is now one of the scariest damn things, because it costs 1 less, and that's all it needed. One little size.
It was really good that they combined these 2 things. A bunch of the warriors got ward, so that they aren't quite as easy to get rid of. You combined the 2 things to sort of make it so that they have to be played together in a sort of new archetype. There's some really interesting stuff happening. Also, I will Venmo you $1 if you can name just 1 card that's in Arms Scavenger's spellbook. I will Venmo you $1 if you could, without looking it up. Just any one. There's 15. You could probably get one at random.
I want to say utility knife. I'm going to just run it out. I'm just running it out there.
No utility knife. No utility knife. There is a different card that there's like a 3-drop 2/2 that says when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a utility knife. But no, you get like
is
boots
plate
of
armor
speed
in there?
Nope, no plate armor. It's red equipments or colorless equipments only. So the best one you could get is a colossal hammer, probably. But there's some weirdos of stuff that you could get in Scavenger's spellbook. Anyway, I just thought that was a fun question, and that they just didn't have it on the website is very funny to me.
It's nice to see Tyvar Kell and some elves get a lot of bonuses, which is cool. Elves in Standard were pretty bad. And it's also sweet to see, again, the sort of thinking behind these. They could have come in and just nerfed everything. They could have crapped all over iTwitch, and I would have been like high-fiving everybody and doing laps. They could have crapped on Meat Hook Massacre, because that card is just absolutely bananas. But instead, I appreciate the fact that this is all pushing different cards in different ways for said reasons. And Base Camp doesn't enter the battlefield tapped, which it never should have. And I don't know who thought that was a good idea. It was a bad idea. And I'm excited now to build a party deck because it doesn't do that anymore.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they are increasing the amount of different things that are playable.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that the Alchemy queues are pretty miserable. So
really,
well, I don't know if I've played in a few. It wasn't necessarily that bad in my opinion.
What makes it miserable?
I'm not sure. People were just talking about long queue times and it just being like not having a ton of variety in the decks. Now, this is all second-hand knowledge from basically, people coming into my channel.
Sure.
But
yeah, so
it's the only knowledge I have. So
right. Well,
and we don't really get Alchemy deck lists. Like we had the Pro Tour lists, but that didn't include any of the newest changes either.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, you have. I think MTG Goldfish has some historic decks, alchemy decks. Untapped.gg has some of them. That's where I get most of mine. But when Wizards puts up their deck lists on Monday at magic.gg, they put up historic and they put up standard, and there is no alchemy in that. So
yeah,
that's annoying.
I mean, I think that's coming. This is, again, they're sort of spending a lot of time figuring out who they are as it pertains to Arena, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we still don't have Pioneer. We still don't have a true pipeline for standard cards into an eternal format, because Alchemy goes directly into historic now. Right. We also now have this Premier Play announcement. I think these things go together. So I think that there is a bit of an identity crisis of what Arena is and what Arena is going to be. And that's fine. You're allowed to grow and change. We all grow and change. And so the fact that Arena's never existed at a time where it wasn't the premier way to play Magic. And now it might be in some ways. So that's fine. Then they'll figure it out. I have no doubt that they'll figure it out. It's a very good program. So.
Well, moving on here, there was an article by Mark Rosewater for his Making Magic series that talked about deciduous mechanics and how there are evergreen or deciduous keywords, I suppose. But there are evergreen mechanics and keywords, and this is like stuff like flying and trample that you're going to see forever and ever. But there's also deciduous keywords that might not be in every set, but should be seen as something that comes in kind of all the time. These are mechanics that designers have access to in any set they want to use them. So things like anchor words, where you chose cons or dragons for certain cards and whatnot. The D&D set had a lot of this, where they had the sort of the flavor words. Blood tokens, I mean, I did kind of note they could be literal the widgets. It doesn't matter that they're blood tokens, but I'm fine with that. Are cool. Cantrips are kind of weird to note as a deciduous. Wouldn't they be evergreen?
I'm pretty sure that's evergreen, but okay.
I mean, if you want to list them, that's fine too. Clue tokens and investigating, I love that. I think these are great. Super flavorful, super cool, super interesting.
Same with blood.
Yeah. Nerd Girl, do you have any feelings about these deciduous mechanics?
I like the clue tokens for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like curses are great.
What was that one?
I said curses are sweet.
Got added to the deciduous as well.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have mixed feeling about curses. Cycling's fun. I hope we don't get a whole cycling set.
Yeah. I mean, if we get deciduous, then it won't be a Cycling Matters set. I want to go back to curses, though, because that was weird. Why do you have complicated feelings about curses?
What's wrong with curses?
They are difficult to interact with and limited, especially best of one. So it's not like a real complaint. It's just they tend to make for some not fun magic sometimes.
That's fair.
They can be overpowered. I can see that. I do like the flavor of them. I think the flavor is cool.
Yeah, agreed.
And definitely having some answers for them, in different ways, or just keeping them like rare or mythic, for example, is another way to stop it. Sure. Cycling is great as a deciduous. Again, it showed up on the Tri-Lands for the upcoming set, which is great, as the only cycling cards in the set. Double face cards to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Like, this is past home run territory. This is just Magic now.
Right.
Magic is
specifically the double-faced cards that have lands on the back.
I was going to say, the modal lands were a home run. It made for amazing gameplay.
Yes.
It really did.
That was when I said of like the things I liked the best, that was my thing I liked the best from our top 10. I think that the modal double-faced cards were such a brilliant stroke of genius, especially to introduce them in a Zendikar set. And I want to see them. I want those to be evergreen, but I'll take deciduous for now.
I would love to see that as evergreen as well, because it shows transformation. It tells stories. Like, it's fantastic. Food and artifact tokens. Don't sure. Wizard. Why are you showing me an Oko? You don't let me play with that card at all. I've got 4 of that card on my arena account that does absolutely nothing. They do 0. What happened to the rebalancing of this card? What happened to making it like 5 mana or whatever? What are we waiting on? Do you need permission?
You did get wild cards for it.
Yeah, but other than it's a cool card. I can't even play it in freaking Brawl. Like, it's gone from everything. Every silly format they come up with that's historic. They know Oko and that. It's banned in everything.
Well,
they just want to show off the abs.
Seriously, what the hell?
Abs were too powerful.
Like, it's cool. Make it 5 mana. Let me play with the damn card.
Anyway, food tokens are cool.
All right, food tokens are great. I love food tokens.
I mean, artifact tokens that do stuff are just cool, right?
Yeah.
We got food, we got blood, we got clues. I would not be shocked to see like the shard tokens come back.
I was about to say we got the Nico shards.
The Nico shard tokens.
Yeah.
Treasure.
Yep. I think treasure is evergreen.
Treasure's deciduous. It's down here.
It's deciduous?
You know, hybrid mana is there. Protection is there. Protection being deciduous, I think, is actually a big deal because they specifically got rid of protection for many, many years.
Yeah.
Because it was like too much for like R&D to develop around or whatever. And Indestructible is very similar. But they made it happen, and that's great.
They sort of hamstrung themselves and didn't even realize it by putting protection from colors as basically the only thing that you could have protection from.
Right.
But then they realized, we could have protection from goblins. We could have protection from, instants.
Exactly.
Hey, Jinx, you owe me Coke.
There you go.
But, they figuring out that you could be hexproof from and have protection from was a huge step forward.
Sagas. I love sagas.
Yes.
Sagas are my favorite on my favorite on this list. Sagas have been a home run. Speaking of home runs, a home run from day one. I've loved them. They're fixed planeswalkers. They are the original sort of planeswalker design stuff. They are cool. They are thematic. I love now that they flip. Urza Saga was a mistake, but that's okay. Like, we got it in the game now, so we have it, and it's wonderful. And nothing's going to beat Enchantment Land Dash Urza Saga. For Urza Saga being Urza Saga as a saga. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. I don't care if it's a mistake.
And you have obviously you have a saga behind you. We all love sagas. Every set has a story to tell, sometimes more. And I think that it's brilliant. And again, I'm glad that they first appeared in Dominaria, Magic's home plane, where so many stories have yet to be told, but we had so many to tell. And now we get them back with Kamigawa. I think it's perfect. I think it's exactly the kind of card you want in Magic.
I think they also, not as important for playability, but we also get some of the coolest art with Saga because of the formatting of the card. We get to do a lot more unique things with those, and I like them a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything more thematic than Urza's Saga being a busted saga?
Well, yeah.
True.
I would also personally like to see classes become deciduous. I know we've run out of D&D classes, but I'm sure there are ways to finagle different types of classes, because it would be a shame to have sagas be deciduous and we get art on the right side, and then classes not be deciduous. You know what I mean?
Sure. And ultimately, I think this list is terrific. I was super happy with it. At one point, I think I said, hey, Ward should be deciduous. Well, actually, Ward is evergreen, so high five. But I would like to see Kicker as deciduous and can be in any set if it wants it, because honest to God, most mechanics are just Kicker.
Okay.
And Proliferate. I think Proliferate is fantastic. Sure. It scales well. It works with any counters whatsoever. -1, -1, +1, +1. Counters on planeswalkers, counters on charge, counters on artifacts. It doesn't matter. So I think those would be really great to have in the toolbox, essentially.
I think Proliferate's a little tougher just because that would be an interesting one. I think it takes a little bit more fine tuning to make Proliferate good in a set. And not either overpowered or useless. So I feel like if they're not gearing towards a proliferate type mechanic, it could get out of hand in limited, but
there you go.
I think that the two that I'm sad are not deciduous are Decayed. I think Decayed is very cool.
It's pretty
I would
neat.
like to, and it lets you make bigger tokens, but let them be kind of bad. And Landfall. I thought it was weird that Landfall isn't deciduous.
Yeah.
I would like to just see Landfall.
Landfall would be a good one. It's easy to understand. I'm glad they left off things like Mutate and stuff that just take a lot to understand in a new set, because we want to limit the amount of things that are going on in any one individual set to stop things from getting too crazy for new players.
Yeah, I don't want Gravestorm to be deciduous. Thank you.
Yeah.
But Pharmacist Judge does note that the ability counters, put a trample counter, put a vigilance counter, are deciduous. He forgot to
also
note
good.
it. So also great. Congratulations to AliasV. She is going to be a mommy. Apparently at the end of August, she is expecting. I wanted to note that as a fantastic piece of news for the Magic community, and congratulations to her and her partner.
Yeah, that was
Yay.
great. That was a lovely announcement to wake up to today, or see in the afternoon. I think I woke up to it, but
so I've got 5 children. I've raised many of them at this point successfully, I would argue. And so allow me to give the same advice I give to everyone who happens to learn to have a baby, particularly the first one, because first one's a few things. One is you do not need bottle warmers of any kind. Do not work with bottle warmers. You will spoil the kid and they will drive you insane. They'll drink just fine. Just lukewarm water is fine. Lukewarm milk or whatever is fine. You don't want it to be specially warm to a certain thing because they'll get used to it and then they'll get mad when you change it. You don't want that. Don't buy changing tables, changing pads. Y'all got a couch. You have a couch. You have carpet. That's where the baby gets changed because you're not going to be like, let's get the changing table out. Let's move this magical piece of foam over here. Wait, here's the changing table like cover.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious. In the real world, you use the couch. It's right there next to you. You flop, flop, you do the thing, you wipe, and you're good to go. You'll get real good at it, I promise. So you don't need that.
By the 5th kid.
Oh, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And then, if you're having the first baby, just like, you know what? They're never going to be as giving and as understanding and as excited as they will be about this kid. So enjoy it, have the showers, you make the people do the family thing, because kid number 2, they're like, and kid number 3, they might not return a call.
Out.
They're like, I'm busy. We'll send you some, gift card. But no, enjoy it. I love it. But you never need a changing table and you never need a bottle warmer. They're just the absolute worst.
All right.
Just waste the money. I don't want you to
Get your parenting
Let her
advice.
get the stuff that she wants. I don't have children, but I have done a lot of nanny stuff. I raised newborn triplets for the first year and a half while their mom was in PhD school. And sometimes you just want to have your stuff organized. So if you want a changing table or a bottle warmer, you can get it and let Evan be a grumpy man.
And I can be a grumpy man.
I was
trust
not
me.
expecting a red zone on
This is
products
great.
to buy for
Please,
your kids.
Push back. I'm telling you, but because once you're 5 kids deep, I didn't give a damn. I'm like, whatever. Come here.
Amazing.
It's a couch. Whatever. It's a pillow. Do want to drop a note to Benita Robledo, who dropped a note that she really appreciated the Magic community and her response to where she had spoke up about some incidents from last week that she had some run-ins, with different directors of shows and things. So feel free to Google that if you like. And obviously, we appreciate seeing this as a happy ending. I think at this point for us supporting her and her doing well. So good for her. As I was complaining in the pre-show, as I do, the Aries Astrology Lands seem like the silliest, most weirdest, saddest secret lair I've ever seen. This whole Astrology Lands idea is the wettest fart I have seen from Wizards in a long time. I don't see any excitement about it. No one's jazzed to get their Astrology Lands. No one's excited to see the new artworks. No one's touting the new artworks. I thought it had to do with like the creatures, but it doesn't, because we get the basic lands, like, because the Pisces has some fish on it, which is cool, but the mountain's got some lava, and like, I don't know what that's got to do with Aries. I guess, I don't know. They're fiery. It's
a fire type Pokemon? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just like, what? And they're available all year. So it's not like there's this ticking clock. So I can't go that angle. And has anyone in our literal chat bought any of the Astrology Lands whatsoever?
That's a good question, actually. Has anyone in our chat bought the Astrology Lands?
Any of them for any reason whatsoever. And obviously this is, an anecdote, but damn. I'm begging to know someone who has purchased
data
these.
point of 2, 3.
Data point of us.
They are print to order, right? Like,
they're print to order.
So,
Wizards
ain't out
money.
Literal no downside, and they're creating so many secret layers and trying to hit so many different audiences.
Yeah.
And so the 20 people who like these, great. Like, That's fine. I don't know why we're spending so much time complaining that this is not for Evan.
You know
there's
how
going to be
I like
things
to
in the world that are not
complain.
for Evan.
I know,
Let's
but this is my
move on.
chance to complain about them. This is.
You did that in the pre-show for 20 minutes.
I know. I'm so good at it, though. All right, so we're gonna move.
I'm so good at it, though. Is a great response to that. Yeah, I've talked about Astrology Lands more than I care to.
It's fine. Let's move on here to Desperate Ravings. Goodness gracious. Check out our altar sleeves, ladies and gentlemen. Support the show by using the code MAGICMICS at checkout for 5% off anything in the store, including a set of exclusive sleeves featuring the Magic Mics crew at altersleeves.com/magicmics. Just a few quick Desperate Ravings this week. There was a story we covered a few weeks ago where Alta Fox, this would be John Finkel and his investment board, owned some 3.5%, I think, of Hasbro, which is still lots and lots of money. And they wanted to have people from their company be a part of the board of directors for Hasbro and to make Wizards of the Coast its own company because they feel like the company is being dragged down by Hasbro's bad decisions and yada, yada, yada. The point is they were rejected and Hasbro said, no, thank you. And they'd be happy to chitter chat about yada, yada, but nothing's changing and that's just going away.
I mean, we kind of knew that.
You kind of expected, but a couple $100 million does get an answer at least, and that's appreciated.
I don't think I knew that John Finkel worked at Alta Fox.
Yeah, and he was like, I believe he is, as I recall.
Let me look.
Feel free to.
So he works for a different hedge fund company.
Oh, and
he works for a hedge fund company.
I heard they nominated him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
It wasn't that they nominated him for... they nominated him to be a thing, but I don't think that he works for that company.
Nice. And that's fair. And I appreciate the update there. I did want to note here one last little bit here for some splash damage. That there's going to be no E3. They just straight up canceled E3 this year, whereas they had a virtual thing last year and this year is not happening.
Probably not enough sales.
Maybe, right? But I think another thing, and the only reason I kind of had it here to begin with, which is, E3 existed in a time in which you needed a sort of convention and a show to bring together publicists and magazines and authors and, people who would highlight that stuff to get it and then go and disperse it. You don't need that now. Nintendo has their directs and PlayStation has their state of play or whatever. And all these different companies just have their own platforms to reach millions of people for free. And so while I know E3 is a business and it's great to keep that running, I'm not sure how much further it can at this point.
So this was a video game trade show.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's been around since the 80s.
Been around forever, yeah.
The early 90s, I think. It's been a minute.
So it got canceled not for COVID concerns.
I think
I kind of assumed it was.
I think it was a little bit of both. There was some amount of interest / they couldn't make it happen here. Let's see.
I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out why they canceled it.
Yeah, they want to return with a reinvigorated showcase, whatever that means. Particularly when you don't make the showcases, you are relying on everybody else to give you those showcases. That's always a concern.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll see. If they say it's canceled, and then don't elaborate, it could be for COVID concerns because it's a huge event. It could be because we don't really need a video game trade show anymore, right. I guess. But we kind of still have big conventions. They're just on hiatus for the time being. I would be interested to see another shoe drop here to see if they're planning on doing it in 2023 or if they're just going to cancel it forever.
I guess we'll see. All right, then.
WonderCon is this weekend. WonderCon's back. So that hints to me that Comic-Con will continue unabated.
TwitchCon also got announced.
Yep.
Nice.
So if they're going to keep selling comics in person, I don't see why they wouldn't keep selling video games.
Yeah.
In person.
Real quick aside, we talked about this in the pre-show. Which was, The people who sell video games these days, particularly Best Buy, does not look like the Best Buy you recall. If you haven't been in the Best Buy in a couple years, go to a Best Buy, and stuff is different, and the world has changed.
Sure.
Good, bad, or ugly. Let's turn the corner here to the finisher. It is now April Fool's Day on the East Coast, meaning it's time for the pre-release. Well, this is where we would put our Unfinity pre-release product if we had any. Good joke, reality. So tell me, what prank are you hoping to pull this April 1st, Ruben?
Hey everybody, exciting announcement. I've accepted a role with Wizards of the Coast as their newest Chief Executive Sanitarial Assistant. So don't worry, I'll be taking out the trash like companions very soon.
No.
Nerd Girl?
All right. I too have exciting news. I am proud to announce the MTG Nerd Girl NFT. That's nice fuzzy tokens of Hammy covered in real Hammy hair.
They're going to make
gross.
controllers, right?
It's very gross. Almost as gross as real NFTs.
It's true. Well, I'm here to announce my retirement from Magic content creation into my new career in the manufacturer of Evan Irwin's herbs and spice blends, because people have really only come to me for my spicy takes and my salt for ages anyway. Thanks.
Hey.
But I'm really good at it. I'm really, really good at complaining about it.
I'm really good at complaining about stuff is very funny. That is maybe my favorite Evan Irwin quote I've ever heard.
I have a specific set of skills.
It's very good.
And that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Nerd Girl.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Ruben.
Hey, thank you.
We're going to move here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsors, CardHoarder.com and Alter Sleeves, my co-host, Nerd Girl, and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching and listening. Hope you support us at patreon.com/magicmics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.